think we are going to see more divergence between the US and probably Europe and China. What we can see from the market is that, first of all, the inflation pressures seems to diminish, and therefore market participants have really repriced downwards the pace of hikes in the US, which is supportive for stocks, especially growth stocks. At the same time, in Europe, we have better than expected data, and we have the reopening of China. So I would say it's a mix of positive and negative news. On the positive front, we see that some regions where we had an extreme pessimism, especially in Europe, may do better than expected this year, which is driving some optimism and rebound in certain regions. Whereas in the US, for example, it's still unclear whether the Fed will be able to engineer a soft landing. So the current earnings season is going to be a key input alongside the continuous drop of headline inflation. But overall, I think the market is probably pricing right that the Fed is going to step down the pace of rate hikes. However, the market might just underestimate the terminal rate Fed funds rate at the moment, and that could drive slight volatility in that space.
All right. Morgane, one of the great debates in Davos is what on earth does the China reopening mean? There's some very good arguments about deflationary inputs on it and inflationary inputs as well, regarding how you feel about supply chains and their voracious demand for raw materials. Where do we sit on China? I think you've got some very interesting commentary on Chinese equities and copper.
Yeah, so I think copper is a very interesting investment at the moment because it kind of captures this reopening of China without having a direct equity exposure, especially because China is responsible for about 50% or more of the demand for copper. So the reopening of China, and especially the rescue of the real estate market, is going to boost the demand for copper. At the same time, copper is also a good way to mitigate the risk of inflation, because even if inflation is starting to slow down, it's still high from historical standards. So copper, and especially copper miners, which is the leverage play of copper, does offer some very interesting opportunities at the moment. Staying on China, I also think that we all talk about Microsoft in the tech space. What I would say is that in the tech space, and in particular e-commerce, the reopening of China is going to boost the sector, because if you take the top e-commerce companies, about a third of the sales are happening in China. So even if most of these companies are US-based, a lower dollar, a rebound in China, a potential resilience in Europe, all of this is very good for the sector, which also benefit from very attractive valuations at the moment. So not everything is slowing down in the tech space, and also the better macroeconomic outlook for better rate outlook from a growth investment standpoint is going to help.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.